The first ever FIA Motorsport Games is here at Vallelunga. We are 20 miles north of Rome, and this Italian circuit has had a wet couple of hours. It's drying out as we get set for the first activity, the first really competitive activity of the weekend for those in the Drifting Cup. 22 drivers, 22 nations represented in this tournament, which this evening has qualifying. We lose 8, 16 go into the battle tomorrow, and this is a chance to have a look at the nations, the drivers representing Hungary, Russia, Portugal, Georgia, Italy, Ukraine, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Romania, Sweden, Norway, Kuwait, France, Switzerland, Lithuania, Belarus, Denmark, Austria, Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Malta. It is a truly worldwide, a global entry across 6 disciplines that make up the FIA Motorsport Games, and this we've had some free practice sessions for race classes during the day, but this is our first real opportunity to have a look at drifting in earnest. Not against the clock, it is scored in a very different way. We'll come to that in a moment. David Anderson and Steve Evans, trackside, looking forward to what promises to be a fascinating hour or so, Steve, of these cars on a drying track. Now, we know that drifting is all about going sideways, but there's an awful lot more to it than just that.
Yeah, there sure is. You know, there's a strict criteria that the judges are looking for. We've got a little map in front of us at the moment. Might get to get it up on screen, but it might not. But basically, I'll explain it. We've got straight out off the start line through a little chicane. That will come apparent more so in battles, why there's a chicane.
Okay.
We have an initiation point, which you can just see on screen there, them 2 white lines. That's where the car needs to be initiated from, i.e. start going sideways. So up until then, they can drive straight, get ready to pitch their car in. The judges are looking for, ideally, a nice, what we call a feint entry, or even a clutch kick, which you can move the car left to right and unsettle the car, or just give the clutch a kick and it will bring the back of the car out. Not really looking for handbrake entries, especially long handbrake entries. You'll see the back wheels locked up forever. That will get marked down quite considerably. Conditions are having to be taken into a bit of consideration, but it is drying. Earlier on, as you say, it was absolutely pouring down. We've just been watching some practice, and there is a drying line. Some of the guys are getting smoke off the tyres. It's going to get interesting because if the line dries, if you come off that line through making a mistake, you're going to be going quite quick.
Now, how do you judge all of this? Let's find out, because our reporter Louise Beckett is with the judges on top of the track.
Okay, I'm going to try and speak to Ryan here. Get him ready for the first qualifying about to start. What are you going to be looking out for?
Well, I'm going to be the angle judge at this round, so I'm going to be looking at how sideways the car is throughout the course, and if there are any corrections being made by the driver while they are sideways. So that goes for all the outside zones. We want the car to be set at angle and then have good rotations to the next amount of angle in the other direction as well.
You were talking to me earlier about outside zones versus clipping zones. Explain that.
So an outside zone is an area that the back of the car needs to fill. An inside clipping point is the front of the car needs to achieve that point. Here on this track, what we've decided is to make all outside zones to make it easier for tandem. So in qualifying here today, of course, it's just one car on the track. But what we're really focused on is tomorrow's tandem competition, so we have the cars really close together.
Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Tell you what, this is a whole different language for dinosaurs like me to have to learn all of this. Gradually, my education is taking place, but everybody is judged on what? Line, style, angle, and the 3 judges looking for these different things. Not about speed necessarily.
No, there's speed isn't involved, but you know you've got to be attacking the course. There's no point poodling around, because you're not going to make all the zones. If you're not going fast enough, you won't link those areas together. Okay. So you've got to have a good bit of pace behind you. So it takes a bit of commitment, a bit of bravery, especially in these conditions. The guys have, had a good feel earlier of how wet it is, but now it's drying out. If they'd come off before it's dried out, they've still got their cars on their wet setting, and now it's, oh, hang on, what do I change? How dry is it?
Sure. So there are the judges, and the 22 nations are all represented in a mix of largely either Japanese cars or BMWs, all of which are rear-wheel drive, all of which have got a huge amount of grunt, all of which are going to be very sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the German cars have got Japanese engines in them, many of them. It's a very popular power plants these guys use. the 1J, 2J being very, very popular. Straight 6-cylinder, easy to get, masses of horsepower.
So, qualifying, it's a single car at a time. We go in numerical order, which means the first for Hungary is here. It is Zoltán Janto, European Adriatic Czech regular. And here is an opportunity to have a look at the course and to really, Steve, explain what we need to be looking for. What you don't do is spin.
Yep, and as you see, he made a huge error there, just going into outside zone 2. Mucked him up. He tried to get it right, understeered straight into the grass bank. That's a 0.
Okay, so effectively that run is wasted.
That run's wasted. So as he's doing is exactly what I would do, is have a feel of the rest of the course.
Right.
Because you want to get on the line where it is. Is it drying? Is it drying? How wet is it? Should have a spotter. It's probably got a spotter up somewhere near the judges or on the other side of the track, which have got a great viewing point. And the spotter can tell you how far off your clips are, providing you've got an honest spotter.
Oh, that's true. Now, what about this man? Because when we looked at practice in the wet, Ilya Fedorov, the 4 times Russian Drift Series champion, seemed to have a car that was very nicely set up.
Yeah, I've actually got a little bet on with one of the judges. I've put €5 on him winning. And he was like, 5, is that it? I was like, I'm telling you, I'm not often I'll put a bet down, but...
So there, the scores, effectively all zeros. That is because that error wipes everything clean.
Wipes everything clean.
Yeah.
It's an incomplete run, didn't finish the track, so it's just a very simple 0.
Okay, so we're losing 8, remember, the lowest scoring 8 at the end of the evening. Away goes Fedorov then, as I say, 4 times a Russian Drift Series champion, and into the first corner. How's that?
Yeah, he's out in that outside zone. As you can see, they've painted a white box there that's nice and clear to see.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's fulfilling all of it right to the outside. Lovely transitions back across the track. There was the cone for the start of 2, but he's got, looks like 2 wheels off, and that'll be a 0. Again, that's a straight and completely offline. I can't see that being anything other than a 0.
Okay.
If it is anything other than a 0, I'll be surprised, because you couldn't follow that in a chase battle.
Sure.
It's an unchaseable run.
And just to make the point, Steve competes as well as judges this, so he knows what he's talking about. So we'll get the confirmation in a moment. But Fedorov then, I mean, that's two cars that we've seen, 2 nations seen, both making mistakes. Even though it's drier, even though it should be easier, still it's difficult.
Looks like on screen there, though, looks like it's starting to rain. Maybe part of the track nearer the start line is still dry.
Yeah.
And as they're coming round, they're finding that wet patch just where the rain's falling. This is where your spotter comes into. And, you know, the drivers should have someone on the radio telling them, look, over here it's raining, and it's raining hard, it's getting wet.
Goes Fedorov then, as I say.
So as we just look at this run again, you see straight, nice initiation, right all the way out to the edge of the track, feels that zone really well. Nice and smooth, no overcorrections on the steering. Yeah, nice smooth bend, but...
It's a 0, as you say.
It's a 0.
So same place in zone 2, and Fedorov then doesn't score. And the next one that we will look for is Portugal. Now this is the 23-year-old Diego Manuel Dias Correa with his E92 shape M3, the current Portuguese championship leader, reigning Portuguese champion, so very much the drift king of Portugal. Let's see whether he can get through without an error.
Yep, so there's the initiation point into the outside. You can see he's right out in that zone, looking really nice, composed, smooth, not too many corrections on the steering. You can see steering wheels nicely, not all changing direction. He's very fluid. Can he keep it here? This is where they're all going, and he's off as well. That's where the big damp patch is, and if your spotter's not telling you, it looked like 2 wheels off from our point of view. So again, that's looking to me to be another 0. Again, as you just saw on that outside zone there, he put a wheel up onto the rumble strip. That would be a deduction in points. The white line denotes the outside limits of the track at this venue.
Is this very unusual that so many people back-to-back are making a mistake and a fail like that?
It can be, but it's not uncommon. For a few drivers, the nerves get to them. You know, in practice, they are absolutely mustard. But when it comes to, they know the judges are watching, they know the live stream is watching and they're being commentated on. And some drivers, it just gets to them and they just throw it away. But it all looks to go wrong after this transition that's coming up. Just going to transition across the track. You can see the puddles of water there. Long handbrake. and he just keeps going. There's
Yeah.
no grip there.
And the car just sort of skates off,
Just
doesn't
skates
it?
off, a complete four-wheel slide off the track.
So 3 gone, 3 zeros. So I tell you what, the pressure is going to be on the second run for them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, 8 are going, and you're now in your mindset is, hang on a minute, I've got 2 runs.
Yeah.
This next one, I've either got to go for it or I've got to put a safe one in and hope I score enough for the others that might put a safe one in.
Exactly.
You really are going to be rolling the dice on your second run.
It's going to be fascinating to see what comes out of all of this, isn't it? So we'll get a score. We think it's another 0 confirmed in a moment for the Portuguese entry, Diego Manuel Diaz Correa, and then it will be Mevlud Melage to go next for Georgia. There he is. We wait for the marshal to give him the signal. The rain is still in the air.
Yeah. Well, Marshall's getting soaked there.
Aren't they ever? There are the judges. And the confirmation will come in a moment, and our graphic will say that it is a safe one. He gets a total of 47 then, and that puts him into the lead. So he got away with that, interestingly.
Yeah, got away with that. Obviously, I picked up on maybe that wasn't quite seen by the judges, or it wasn't 2 wheels off.
Yeah.
You know, there is a bit of tarmac there.
Oh.
It could be deemed that he's still on circuit.
They've let it go, or at least they've given him a score. So, Mevlud Melage then, former circuit racer, road safety campaigner, which is, again, part of the FIA's message this weekend. He blasts away, former martial arts champion, and somebody that was winning in drifting even back in the very early 1990s. So, here, Mevlud Melage for Georgia, certainly one to watch.
Yeah, as you see, he's absolutely peddling that machine. Full beam on all his lights, trying to light up all the track you see, and here he goes, one wheel off. And is he going to keep it?
Just about saved that, didn't he?
But he's come so far offline there, he's hooked a cone up.
Exactly.
I wouldn't like to score this one myself. We don't have quite the view that the judges have. The judges have more cameras, more angles. They have a slightly better system than we're seeing, to be honest. And as I said earlier, when I stood out there and watched it, it's totally different to watching it. It's amazing. It looks another 50 mile an hour faster out there. It is crazy.
So, hooked a cone, did Melage into the pit lane. He comes. You get another run, of course, so there are options to make the odd minor tweak in the time that's afforded to you. It's going to be Italy next, and the driver of the Italian entry, Federico Scarifo, went off, in fact, on his early run. Now, here is the replay of Georgia. Again, it started off so good.
Yeah, lovely faint entry, just flicks the car from one side to the other, all the way to the outside. Looks like he's getting possibly some smoke off the tyres. It might just be a lot of spray, but he's definitely pedaling that car there. Again, the transition, you can see the puddles there. One wheel off, the other wheel he's actually on. He does maintain the drift there, looking at that. So it just shows you a second view. He's still got some angle in the car there, so it doesn't look like a complete straighten. It's whether they deem it followable and squabble. So he's missing this next zone, so he will lose 5 points for there, but he gets out to near the finish line. Where outside zone is, and you can see the judges discussing it in depth there.
A lot of deliberation going on. Of course, the only score to beat so far is 47 from Portugal. Let's see in a moment what that is going to be. The numbers are communicated, and in a moment our graphic will confirm
and as you
what
can
we
see
have.
there, all the judges making notes as well. They're not just making a score, making detailed notes so that the drivers can ask these guys later, what's gone on here? How did I get this? And the judges will give them that feedback.
So let's wait and see. Notes taken, score about to be communicated from the international judging panel.
Yeah, got 3 great judges. Furthest away with a white and black cap on, he's my good friend Vernon.
So 40 points.
It's a 40, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a score.
It is.
And at the moment, just getting a score on the board is he's going to pay.
Yeah, because 2 have and 2 haven't. Right, for Italy, Federico Scarifo, the Sheriff, he is called. Now, first time in this car, so he was learning about it in the practice runs. We saw him slide off the road, up the back, rip some rear bodywork off, away he goes. So Scarifo blasts off. He's been drifting for, 15 years. He's a D1 GP competitor, International Drifting Champions Cup winner, Red Bull Drifting Battle. He's got a good CV. It's a lighter car because the rear balance was ripped off earlier on. Can he keep it on the tarmac?
Well, it'll be a good lap if he can. He's doing reasonably well. It's lots of handbrake. So much handbrake use. It's going to be very, very slow. in comparison, especially on the screen, it's going to look slower than it actually is. To say out there when you're watching it, it is much faster.
Yeah,
But watching him in practice, for me, he was using far too much left foot braking, slowing the car down to almost a crawl. But maybe that was him dialing himself into the car to work out how much left foot braking he could use, how much heat he could get in. But again, not a bad little run there. He's going to get a score for that.
Indeed, and in fairness, we've had now 5. That's the first one, really, where we haven't been saying, oh, has he made a mistake? Is he off? We knew he was on the road, even if it wasn't the best run. So here's a replay from on board. Talk us through this.
Off the start line, so up through the gears, you can see, flicks it in, looking for the outside zone. Plenty of steering action there. You can see him just dialing a bit of lock on and off as he needs to, just to keep the car settled and where he wants it. Out of that zone, transitions across them. This is where everyone's been going off. You can hear the slide there. As he come off throttle, the car just continued to slide, but he's kept it. Showing a good bit of skill here. Out to that zone, transitions across. A little bit of a mess up there. This is the zone they've all been missing through practice. This out of zone 5. And then to zone 6. A bit haphazard in the wheel, but it's a brand new car. So...
and that onboard shows as well what he's got to contend with, because you've got the rain, you've got the puddles, you've got the light, and you've got the darkness, and he gets 62 points, which puts him in the lead at the moment. So the Sheriff currently is top dog. Federico Scarifo is the best. Can't say the fastest, he's the best scorer. That was a decent run, but as I say, that onboard showed you he's got the darkness, he's got the floodlights, he's got the puddles, and he's trying to get it all sideways. Absolutely.
All against you.
Now this is for the Ukraine, Dmitry Ilyuk, who has done drag racing, he's done a bit of rallying, and is currently 7th within the Hungarian Drift Championship. It makes a great noise, does this Nissan, as he thunders towards us.
Flames coming out of everywhere. You can see he's absolutely pedaling that car. A lot of handbrake, slows the car down, but keeps it on track, and that's the important thing at the moment.
No, I thought he had a wheel on the dirt there.
One wheel off, we're going to be all right.
We're okay with that.
Get a little bit of a mark down. It's not, at the moment, you could live with that and get a score. 2 wheels off and you're going to get a 0. But as you can see, the brake lights on there, plenty. Left foot braking that car quite heavily, hence there was some smoke, looked like coming out the tyres. But again, he'll get a score on the board.
Yeah, and that's important
Now. Yeah. Especially when you've seen the first 4 guys go off.
Yeah, and 62 is the score to beat. Here's the replay. So he blasts away through that little chicane. It does make a proper noise, doesn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? Up to the white lines, the initiation, flicks it in. You can see the cone at the start of the outer zone. He's out to the outside edge, just comes away from the zone but drops back into it again. So I'm going to lose a couple of points there. 1 wheel there, a slight drop, but he's kept within the zone and he's kept a fluid motion there. It's not the neatest run so far, but it's relatively tidy without crucifying him.
And you see as well that front brake light on top of the windscreen for the judges' benefit as much as anything.
Judges can see when the guys are using their brakes, more so in battles. It's a little bit of a tactic that some drivers use, heavy left foot braking. There we go, look at that, good score.
Goes into the lead, 66 then.
Out.
It is, so Ukraine leads, Italy leads, Portugal. That's your top 3 at the moment. We go to Latvia next because Edmunds Berzins, the 2019 Latvian champion, is next to go. He was the semi-pro champ in the Latvian Drifting Cup last year. He's a regular in the North European Zone Pro Drift Championship. His E46 shape BMW M3 is go.
Away we go, Tentative initiation in, gets the car out to the outside zone. Looks like he comes away from it just there, drops back into it, so almost zigzagging across the track slightly, not the perfect line, gets into the next outer zone. It's not the smoothest again, but these conditions are atrocious, and you know, I know there's going to be people online going, oh, that's rubbish, it's easy. It's not easy, trust me. I've been watching these guys all through practice. This is a sketchy track, it's dry and wet, puddles.
Yeah.
And the cars are all over the place. Well, it doesn't look like it. You know, you tap a puddle and it moves the car so much.
Now, how would you rate that in comparison with the Ukraine, Dmitry Ilyuk's effort? Because it looked pretty good, that.
Didn't look bad. Get another little look at it. Off the start line, through the chicane. Doesn't look the fastest accelerated. Looks a bit tentative to me. So might get marked down there. Looks good out in the zone. But from here, just looks like he's dropped out of it because it's not right out to the edge of the track. But then comes back into it. So he's not going to get the maximum 10 points for that zone. gets into this second zone quite nicely. Again, quite a lot of handbrake and slows down. So not really as fluid as you'd like. It's just not flowing as smooth.
But at least at that corner, at that zone, we weren't worried about him skating off onto the grass like the first couple
And
were.
here he gets out into zone 5, although he drops out of it very quickly. Had he stayed in there, he could have got himself another 5 points.
Yeah.
But he's probably got 1 or 2 points for getting into that zone.
Okay.
So he's probably going to do okay.
Are we in the 70s?
No.
No, 60.
No.
So that puts him only 3rd, in fact.
So 60 seems, around the 60 seems to be a decent run at the moment, to be fair.
Indeed.
You know, it is a good run.
Estonia next. This is Ovaida, who is representing Estonia with his E36 BMW. And the start line judge is ready with the flag on, instruction to wave him away. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from the driver, gets ready for the green flag, off he goes. Wipers are off, doesn't look like it's raining, so this could change things, it could start drying out. Here we go, nice little gentle initiation, out to the outside zone, brake lights on, so you know he's going to be left foot braking. Comes out of the zone again, you see there, and then ducks back in it, so almost shortcutting ever so slightly.
Rear bodywork, juddering, whoops, hits a cone.
Hits a cone.
That's not great.
Going to be one wheel possibly out there. Quite a long handbrake again there. But I don't think there's too much choice in this weather. I don't think you've got much choice of not using a handbrake. If it was dry, the guys would very just gently dab the handbrake, or the wand as we like to call it. Give the wand a little dab just to unsettle the car. But in these conditions, guys are just using it, I think, as a safety tool.
Just thinking scoring, I take it you're combining your scores from the first and the second runs here, are you?
No, it'll be your highest score.
Oh, the higher
of
out of two. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
your highest score. So your first run might be amazing and you might get a really good score. Your next
Right.
one could be really bad. So your higher of 2, will put you on the qualifying grid.
Okay.
And as we say, we've got 8 possibly going out.
Indeed, and Hungary and Russia are staring at that at the moment. This is the replay of the cone clipping Estonian entry. Ovaida.
Sorry, as you saw, coming up to that cone there, he was on the handbrake ever so long.
Yeah.
Might have just paid dividends to come off of that. It dropped him out of the next zone and then the next zone. And then again, the next zone, he's off it again. So if you don't get the line right at the first 2, it throws you off. If you miss it out of zone 1, you miss zone 2, and it just snowballs on. It's so crucial, the line here.
The judges' scores are in. I've always wanted to say that. It is only 52, so that puts him in 4th in the rankings. Estonia is 4th. It is still the Ukraine on 66 points that leads in the first qualifying run for the Drifting Cup in this inaugural FIA Motorsport Games. We are at Vallelunga, we're in the drizzle here 20 miles north of Rome, and we are set for a potential winner to hit the track. For Finland, this is Juha Portugal, the Drift Masters European Championship regular. He is this year's Iron Drift King winner, and many people tipping him to be a potential winner of this FIA tournament.
Yeah, he's very established, accredited driver. Numerous wins, and I did put a post up on Facebook saying, you know, who's your money on? And I got quite a few messages saying, you know, you'd be mad not to put a few quid on this guy. He is a really good pilot, and as you can see, he's so smooth.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's just
all looking good,
smooth
isn't
and
it?
consistent. No massive errors. He's making some, a little bit on the rumble strip, but first driver to complete that zone 5. Nobody else has been through it all, so. He's gonna,
smoke as well.
He's getting smoked now. Maybe we're going to see a starting of the drying line there. And that could bring in other problems. So here we go, back to start line. See, flat out, you can hear he's absolutely on it. Little one, dab, 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 out into the zone. Just dabbing on the left foot brake, not too heavy on it. Keeping the car out there. And you see there's no major corrections on the steering wheel, so the car's not shifting about. A little bit long on the handbrake there. It gathers it all up, keeps it from going off. Out to the next small zone, transition zone, a little bit off of that, but then he comes, bang. One wheel on the rumble strip, he's going to get ever so slightly marked down now, but he's got, you know, maybe 4 points for that zone, whereas everybody else has been missing that zone. So this could be number 1.
Well, let's see, because the scores are ready. Anything in the 70s would be really good, and it's a 76. That is 10 points up on the Ukraine. That's a mega score.
It's, you know, 10 points, you go, oh, what's 10 points? But when it's only out of 100 and each section there's you know 5 points for this section, 5 points here, 10 here, that's a big difference.
For Romania is Vlad-Andrei Stănescu, who is next. Andrei Stănescu, regular in the Drift Masters European Championship with the M1 BMW. Blasts away. It's a smaller, stubbier car than the M3s that we've been looking at. And now he gets that initiation zone, kicks it sideways.
Yeah, away we go. Gets a nice little, as you say, kick on the initiation out. You can see the back wheel is within that zone. Not as deep as perhaps the judges like to see, but he's maintained it all the way through that zone. Not as smooth in the transition as we've seen the previous run. If you compare them back to back, you see there's quite a few corrections going on there. Oh, and that's
2 cones gone.
That's, I'll be tempted to say that's 2 wheels off there. It looked like it was up onto the green sort of asphalt there. But I wouldn't swear to it.
All right, let's see what the judges
for
reckon.
Me at the moment, from that view, it'd be a 0. But I'm not judging.
Not tonight, you're not.
Not tonight.
No, but your opinion is very valid, that's for sure. Let's have another look. See if your opinion changes here in replay.
A nice little faint entrance, flicks the car one side, back to the other.
Turns it through.
Bashing away. We have a quick look back at the judges as they're even discussing it there, as you see. And there's just a little error there.
See, they go through a puddle, don't they? There's 1 cone gone.
Yep, and
then he struggles.
Quite in the zone, gives it a clutch kick, comes out. Now here.
I reckon, he's on the green, but he's not on the grass.
It could be 1 on the green and 1 on the rumble strip. The judges have got, as we say, they've got all the laptops in front of them there with various views, and out there live is very different to watching it on your screen. And when I watched it earlier, I say the speed is amazing difference.
It's a 0.
There we go. Maybe I was right on that one. Yay,
so zone 2
me.
again is the problem. So that is Romania staring a bad score in the face. Now this is Sweden. This is the Subaru in the hands of Christian Erlandsson, regular in the European Championship, the Subaru BRZ. Welcome variety, because we've had an awful lot of BMWs of late. So the Subaru is good to go. Erlandsson, not necessarily one of the stars of drifting, but representing his nation, and he's eager to do well.
Yeah, and you can't rule him out because there are no, as I say, there are no mugs here. There's no cannon fodder. They're all top pilots here. You know, all the guys are here, and they're representing their country. So there's a lot on their shoulders. Yes. And as you can see, a lot of them put their country flag on their car, made it part of their livery. You know, they're all proud, and they're making history here with this FIA Games. You know, this is the first of hopefully what's going to be a continuation, and hopefully I'll be back for the next one.
Well, we are ready to go then. Why the hold? Now we get the thumbs up. And the green flag will be dropped then. So away now blasts Christian Erlandsson in the Subaru. Another good throaty noise up through the gears, and
very tentative entry. Almost sort of second guessed himself there. Like, wondered if he was going too fast. He looked like he had quite a lot of grip off the start line. I wonder if he was shaken by that. Suddenly thought he's got more grip than he has. Might have his car as a wet setup and it's drying out. Washed through that zone there and then come out of it early. This is a scruffy run.
It is, isn't it?
It's a very scruffy run, but it's his first run. Some drivers can nail their first run, muck up their second.
Oh, he's all up the grass. He's got understeer. He's heading off. In fact,
that's going to be a 0.
Yeah.
I'm confident on that one.
Well, it's fascinating to see different people making different errors in different parts of the course. Here's the replay.
You see, the car almost bulked off the start line there. It wheel span and then gripped. I think it's got a bit more grip in it than he anticipated.
Tell me about tyres. They're not on a slick, are they?
No, these guys will be on semi-slicks.
Right.
Varying compounds. They'll probably be on a medium compound. Some, if they've brought softs with them, will possibly be on softs with very low tyre pressures, soft suspension. Some may be down to 6-8 psi on the tyres, which of course you'd never do on a road car, but once these wheels start spinning, they get generating heat and the tyre pressure goes up. So by the end of the race, it may be on 20-25 psi.
Okay, well that was the big error. Up the grass. Look at all of that understeer.
Yeah, that's a 0 in anyone's book.
Okay, so that's Sweden. Christian Erlandsson in strife, and here's the result. It's a 0. Let's go to Louise Beckett with the judges and get their opinion on what's going on so far.
As we're at the midway point through the field, it's worth speaking to Ryan now just to find out what are you noticing? It looks to me like it's proven to be quite difficult for them.
It really is difficult, and the big issue here is that the consistency of the traction on the track is very, it's varying wildly throughout the track, and it's making it very difficult for them to stay on throttle and to put a good run together. If it's consistently wet, then it's easy for them to get accustomed to that consistency, but because it's so patchy out there right now, it's very difficult. In some areas, there's no grip, so they're having to go very slowly, and then they transition the car to an area with a lot of grip. They don't have the speed to fulfill the course properly, so it's making it very difficult to get the car set throughout the course.
Now you're standing in front of the circuit here, we can see it, but you're also looking and relying quite heavily on the TV screens. We saw it with the 55, just checking where his tyres were placed.
Yeah, because of it, it's dark, first of all. We don't have the best lighting, and it's based on the distance from us to the track. Sometimes we need to rely on cameras because it'll give us the most accurate view of what's going on the track. We're looking at the tire to be on the edge of the course, and we're asking a lot of the drivers, and we want to make sure that we're fair and giving them the proper scoring.
We're here with lots of different nations competing. Are you seeing a pattern maybe with some nations being used to these conditions or not?
There's an expectation that that's the case, but it hasn't proven to be that way so far in qualifying. It's only the first run of qualifying. When they ended their qualifying session earlier, it was starting to dry up. We were actually seeing tire smoke here in the outside zone 5, and then it rained in between the end of qualifying and the beginning of qualifying right now, from practice to qualifying, sorry. So now it's actually more slippery than it was when they left the track earlier, and it's catching a lot of them off guard, I think.
Okay, well, I'll let you get back to your job. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
So thanks, Louise, and good to hear from the judges. Interesting as well about the level of the traction changing. This is the next one to go for Norway. It is the 23-year-old Odd-Helge Helstad with the Nissan 200SX, a junior drift champion, a senior drift champion. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, off the line. Again, look, not a lot of wheel spin. Bear in mind that track's wet. Just shows he's got a bit of grip in that car. Has he got too much grip? Is it going to be, is he going to work it right? Has he got the right balance? Has he guessed it right? He's just going for experience here. A little bit off that zone there, but then drops back into zone 1. Going to look for a nice smooth transition across the track. Nice and smooth, a little bit on the handbrake. Can he keep it together? This is where it's really wet. We know everyone's going off, and there we've got one wheel off. It looked like, if we had another camera angle, that might show it a bit clearer. Possibly one wheel off there, so it'd be a deduction. But it's quite smooth. Just gets into outside zone 5 and then drops straight out of it.
But look at all the smoke. That shows you how much it's dried all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So spectacular stuff from Norway, Odd-Helge Helstad, the 2017 Norwegian champion, but there's a fear of one, maybe even 2 wheels off down in that second zone. Let's have another look in replay here.
Yeah, it's definitely drying out, especially at the start line. They've got plenty of grip, and that could have thrown, as I say, many of them into false hope earlier on.
Yeah.
But now it's drying out. This is going to bring in possibly another problem, that you can end up with a dry line, and if you come off that line by mistake. Here we go.
Here we go. Now, look, the outside wheel goes.
It's just a little bit further around this corner, just right there. There's one.
That's both off, surely.
Oh, I wouldn't like to call that. I wouldn't like to call that from that camera angle.
Get off your fence, come on.
No, I'm not getting off my fence. I'm not going against what... From there, it's marginal at best. It's possibly on the white line, possibly just over it. The judges, no doubt, they're going to have to really look at that. You can see they're talking about it. And
they're laughing about it now. Thinking, is that another one that's got it wrong in zone 2? Well, let's see. Because in a moment, the score will be communicated. And if it goes 0, 0, 0, 0, then we know it's another fail. And so far, 4 nations have not got a score. The judges say it's a 0.
There we go, you got it. Oh, I was on the fence and you was in there. That's it, I can retire.
Well, don't please stay with us, because we've got another run for everybody, and of course tomorrow when it's in tandem, the battle, we'll come to that later. Now the next one to go is Q8. Ali Mahseed with the, not Nissan, it's a BMW M3 that he has switched to. You'll see in a moment he gets the green flag and he's away.
And away, yeah, off he goes. Nicely accelerating. Well, it looked quite hard, but then it sort of almost backed off a little bit tentative. Again, when you're sitting on that start line, you think, yeah, I'm going to go for it, but looks like he's missing that zone by quite a way.
Yeah.
So there's 10 points gone for starters. Long, forever on the handbrake, so he's going to get crucified with that.
But he keeps it off the grass, though.
But he kept it off the grass, so he's going to get some points. Some points is better than no points. out to that zone, lovely to that outside zone. Can he get into 5? Yeah, but then comes straight out of 5 after getting in it. As you can see, again, the smoke's coming up there. That area of the track is starting to dry.
And it's getting quicker as well, isn't it?
Getting faster.
A double Q8 drift champion, the Q8 King of Drift champion. Here's the replay of it. He's going to get a score, and at the moment, 7 have got a score and 5 haven't. So if he can get a score, he's in the pound seat.
Yeah, you know, you just want to get that score on the ball, and just then you can go, right, I've got a score. Now the next one, I know I can go for it and push and try and get a bit further up the grid.
Indeed, indeed. Because 22 nations are here this evening, and it's only 16 that will go into the battle when they run in pairs, one leading, one chasing, then they swap over, and that is tomorrow night when we will go through that shootout between the nations for the winner.
This track is absolutely perfect for tandem. It's all outside clips, so you can get up nice, close and personal, but you are relying on the lead car running the perfect line. And that's why the judges have this strict criteria of where they want you in, what zones, with the angle.
Lots of pointing going on now, so the discussions are getting more earnest, and it's a score. It's only 40 points, but it's a score.
Better than a 0.
Indeed so, indeed so. The scores available for different elements are weighted differently, aren't they?
Yes, so you've got, you've got one judge will be doing line, and he can score a maximum of 35 points.
35, okay.
The whole run, he can only score 35. Another judge will be doing angle. He can only score a maximum of 35 points throughout the whole track. And then the third judge will be doing style. And a lot of people get style confused with thinking it's just tyre smoke. It's not. It's fluidity. And I did say that, and commitment. So it's, you know, how nice and smooth it is and how committed these drivers are. Benjamin Boobles is how I pronounce his name. It's probably slightly wrong. But a very renowned driver. This car sometimes runs without this roof on.
Okay.
It's fully caged, and he has a netting above him. And obviously in the nice weather, you can run without the roof on.
Well, he's got it wrong, and he's understeered off. That's a definite 0. Benjamin Boulb has dropped it completely, understeers off, and that we don't have to look at. That's a 0.
Yep, you can't argue with that one. Even his biggest fan can't argue with that one, you know.
It's fascinating how many, I mean, like you said earlier, there are no mugs here. These are all top dollar drivers, and yet it's mistake after mistake after mistake. Finding a run that you've been impressed by is like finding hen's teeth.
It's hard.
Absolutely.
It's hard. But, you know, there are a couple, as we've seen, that are, you know, they are there. And that's the experience of the drivers. We are on a brand new track.
Yeah,
they don't know what the tarmac's like. So he's going to be a 0. And he's going to be kicking himself because he knows he can do this track.
Yeah.
You know, he's an established driver, and it puts more pressure on you.
Yeah. Well, here from France we go to Switzerland next. Yves Meyer, who was second in last year's FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup. He is another regular in the Drift Kings International, also in the Oman International Drift Series with his M2 BMW. He blasts away, little bit of wheel spin. So for Switzerland, the 28-year-old kicks it sideways.
Yeah, nice flick.
Looks good.
The judges are going to like that. A bit of commitment and a bit of style, a bit of panache. He's out in that zone, stays all the way, just tentative, a little slight hiccup, but nothing major. Transitions across the long handbrake, which they're all doing because it is so little grip there.
But he's kept it off the cones, off the grass.
Kept it off the grass. You could see him a little bit flapping at the wheel there where he suddenly realised he had no grip.
Yeah.
You know, transitions across, misses that outer zone, brings it back, and this is where it's dry. Look, straight away, tyre smoke. But they're getting the tyre smoke on the wrong line.
They are. It's going to be a score.
It's going to be a score. I don't think it's going to be a very good score.
No.
But
so anything in the 70s is mega. 60s, you can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that high. I think it's going to be maybe in the 40s with the mistakes. But I'm not scoring. So, and of course, this car is one of the carbon Kevlar machines. It is an absolute beautiful car. You know, if you aren't here and you're nearby, and or you can get here and come and look at these cars because the quality is outstanding.
I mean, that is immaculate, isn't it?
Making the mistake. You saw his arms flailing a bit. Judges pointing it out on their screens as well.
Yeah.
You know, they have a couple of extra camera angles than we do. You can see, you hear the tyre squealing there where he was on the handbrake, on the wand. And up comes the smoke, but he's in the wrong area on the track. So it's going to get marked down for it. Plenty of notes going down.
So what do we think? In the 50s, maybe? 52 is what Estonia scored. We've had lower than that even in the 40s, but the numbers are communicated. And let's see. Okay, mid-40s is a prediction. And are the judges happy? Imminently. The scores will be up. So, where do we think that's going to put him? The answer is it's 46. Not brilliant, but it's 7th in the ranking. Yves Meyer for Switzerland.
That's 2 that I've got right out of all of them so far.
Excellent. Now, next up will be Benedictes Schieba, regular in the European Series. Look at all that on the dash. What's that telling him?
Everything he needs to know, and probably stuff that he don't want to know when it's going wrong. This man, when it comes to battles, is an absolute master.
He's got to get there yet, though.
He's got to get there yet, so he's all to go for. Flicks it to the outside. As you see, nicely under throttle, using the throttle, not loads of throttle and left foot braking, just feathering the throttle there. Different styles from different drivers. Bit on the handbrake, he knows there's no grip there. He's been told by his spotter clearly. Keeps it together. It's not the neatest round that bend, but nobody's really. They're
right.
either making it or not making it. There's no in between now.
So Finland, the nation to beat. This is Lithuania. Last couple of corners. Very sideways. He hangs on to it, but only just.
Yeah,
wow.
That comes into the lock kit that we were talking about earlier. Some of these guys, you know, you've got like 80 degrees of steering lock. You don't necessarily always use them, but when you need to save the car, then that lock comes into play.
Yeah, that was
becomes
close.
worth its money. So here we go. Even looks out the window at us as he's coming towards that clip there. You can hear him just feathering away with the throttle, not having it on the limit. There's no need. He knows it's not going to go any faster. Feathering the car, on the handbrake. A little bit longer, but if he hadn't, he probably would have gone straight off there. So read the road quite well. Out to that zone, across. A little bit shy of that zone, but then look at this, bang! Straight into that, all the way through that zone, flicks it through. Just a little bit too much on the end there. He's going to get a little bit marked down because he's not as fluid of transition out of 5 to 6.
So the scores are about to be revealed. Is this going to be in the 50s? Is it going to be better than that? Let's see. It's 76 to beat, and it is 86 that puts him in the lead by a whopping 10 points. So we go 86, 76, 66 for the top 3. That puts Lithuania in the lead.
So it's getting serious. It's getting serious now. See, now this is a slight advantage if you're not running first and you've got some good spotters, they're giving you feedback. The track's drying out, the track's wet here, there's a puddle here. If you're offline, you know, it's going to throw you off. Your spotter will tell you, you know, driver before you, he went straight off because he hit a puddle at clip 2. You take all that in and your nerves are going.
So for Belarus, away goes Dmitry Nahula, national champion. And his Nissan 200SX goes into that first initiation zone, so he kicks it sideways. Now let's see what he can do. Suddenly, you've got to be scoring north of 66 points to be comfortably through.
To make sure you're through, you want to be in the 60s. Got that nice first zone, a little bit of a hiccup on the transition, tentative on that cross into zone 2. You can see that's so damp still there, it's not getting dried out at the moment. Bashing the rev limiter, 3 and 4, can he get 5? Having to use the handbrake to get himself out there. You can see the rear wheel locked up for quite a time. Didn't fulfill all of 5. Transitions across and there's 6-ish. Gonna get a score. It's not going to trouble the top 3.
Okay, didn't look bad.
Didn't look bad.
Better than some we've seen. So.
Yeah. The track's drying out, so that, you know, these guys have got a little bit more to play for. But of course, if they've set their cars up for wet, full wet, when coming out on the track and now it's drying, you might see a few of them dart into the pits. But of course, they've then got to get back out and make sure they're in their grid order. If you miss your grid order, that's a 0.
Right, and
If
tonight
you're not in your place, when they call you up to start line, you're out. That's it, that's a 0.
And it's numerical order for this evening. There in replay, illustrating what Steve's is telling us is
Dmitry Nahula. Long handbrake to get into that, and then he drops out of it, completely out of 5. Not very smooth because he's on the wrong side of the track to transition.
Now we understand that although Denmark should be next, Dennis Hansen is not ready to go. Let's just first of all worry about the score for Belarus. but we're hearing that Denmark is not going to take part in this first qualifying run because of dramas in practice, which would be very disappointing. I think somebody did drop some oil. Maybe,
yeah, there was two
Henry.
cars that broke down. They
Right.
only had one recovery vehicle available.
Right.
So they was discussing, you know, has he got enough time to get off? And I'm hoping he's not been penalised for that, and it is just generally that he's just not ready.
Okay, well, let's do the score first of all for Belarus. It is a 43. That's not mega, is it? You said it wasn't going to trouble the scorers, so it's there, but there is no sign of Denmark. 233 for Austria. Daniel Brandner is there. He is good to go. The Drift European Masters regular, the 28-year-old. So he will be next away. So Denmark really is on the back foot. No run in Q1.
Yeah, all down to run two.
Yeah.
If you don't now score in two, load up, go home, or enjoy the party and stay and cheer everyone else on, which you generally find in drifters. It's very rare that if a drifter doesn't qualify, don't always pack up and go home. 99% of them will stay and cheer others on. You'll even find them taking bits off their cars to keep others on track. It really is a very drifting spirit and a family.
This is where we are at the moment then, with Lithuania ahead of Finland, and then third at the moment is the Ukraine. That's our top three. Right, let's get back to the action then. Austria, Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Malta still to go in this first run.
Well, Brander's got go hard or go home on the back of his car, and he does often go hard and sometimes goes home. He is very much a loose cannon, I like to call him. You never know where he's going to end up. He can be absolutely on it, spectacular, or he can crash in the most spectacular fashion when you least expect it. You know, exits left very sharply. But a good pilot, very passionate, as most of the drivers are. But, you know, some drivers have got that real passion about them, and you know, they really, really want to win because it means the world to them. And Brandy's one of those guys. He really wants to win, and he's all out for it.
So we are awaiting the thumbs up from the marshal, the judge, the start line judge.
Yeah, I think they've letting the car go back to the pits. Might be going back to make some alterations. So wait for him to clear the track first. As soon as he's cleared, no doubt we'll get start line marshal thumbs up, and he'll thumbs up from Brandy. Green flag, and we'll be right.
Go hard or go home. Hard is predicted. The two Austrian flags adorn the car, and Brandy then up through the gears. So this Austrian driver, regular in the Drift European Masters, is he getting excited with the smoke there as well at the first corner?
But you can see he's very, very slow.
Yeah.
Really heavy on the left foot brake. Trying to use the left foot brake to maintain the car in the zones, but sacrificing so much speed. It appeared on screen. I know outside it's much faster, but that looked really slow. And the judges will crucify him for that. Gets to 5. Can he keep it in? No, comes straight out of 5, right on the edge of it. So he's not going to get a good score for 5. Gets across. He's going to get a score. He's going to get a score, but it's not going to set the world on fire.
So let's see what it's going to be then.
Go off the start line, a little bit of wheel spin, and then the car grips up, so there's plenty of grip there at that start line. A little clutch kick, flicks it in, then onto the handbrake, and here you see brake lights are on. Just watch, the car almost comes to a stop. It really slows down. Just doesn't seem to have that much forward momentum.
I suppose the point is, though, that if we were stood trackside, it'd look a heck of a lot quicker anyway.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching, say, a bit of practice. I went outside to watch, and it looks 50 mile an hour faster than we're watching on the screen. Yeah. It is spectacular. This is a really fast circuit, and it takes a brave person to go that fast in the wet, knowing that if you go off gravel, you're on the roof, possibly.
Yeah, that's true.
As we saw the sheriff earlier, you know, take his brand new car down the barrier, take some panels off.
Exactly, slid up the back. Right, there are the judges, umming and ahhing. And the numbers will be written, the numbers will be communicated, and...
Of course, making their notes of where they've seen mistakes, so that the drivers can go and approach them afterwards. You know, where did I make a mistake? Because you don't always rely on your spotter. 9 times out of 10, your spotter's your mate, and he thinks you're amazing, or his family, girlfriend, boyfriend, and they say, you know, you are the best thing since sliced bread, and you really need an honest spotter who's going to tell you, you sucked, you missed this point, this point, this point, and that's how you get better. The guys with the honest spotters generally progress the quickest and the best.
So clipboards at the ready, numbers tapped into the laptop, radio check to the scores, and it's going to be 45.
Yeah, said it wasn't going to set the world right. Midfield, mid-pack at the moment, maybe.
Only 9th for Austria, but also, to use a line, it's a score.
It's a score, and he's out there.
Yeah, so next up, Slovakia. This is Janos Onidi, Dinos as he's known, regular in the Czech series, the Slovakian entry. It's another of the E36 BMWs. It's the four-door, and it makes a great noise as it rumbles away from the line. Now, let us see where this is going to put him. What's been interesting of late is that we've had, since the French entry, Benjamin Bourg, relatively few people making mistakes. They might have had scrappy runs, but we haven't had quite the same drama with people sliding off the road as we did at the wetter start of the qualifying runs.
People are starting to dry out that line. There's a few puddles there, and that's where into this zone 2 is taking people off. Oh, bit of unsteer there.
And a spin. That's a 0, isn't it?
0, you're not a hero.
Right.
Off you go. Yep, so all the pressure on his second run now.
So you know what I was saying about few people making mistakes?
Yep, you cursed that
Take
one.
it all back.
Yep,
right.
sure.
Thank you so much. Janos Onidi then is the man who now has to do this walk of shame, really, back to the pit lane.
Yeah, but again, he's finishing out the run, which some drivers just drive back, but it's much better to just have a little feel of the rest of the track because it gives you an idea of what grip is available where.
He's missed pit in as well. It's easy to get the score, so we don't need a replay. We know exactly what he did wrong, and boom, 0.
And he'll know, and he'll be calling himself everything. His spotter will probably be shouting down his ear.
Yeah. And that means that we are good to go.
Easy one for the judges and an easy one for us.
Well, indeed. The Czech Republic will go next. The 31-year-old Michal Reichert, the Czech Drift Series and Drift Masters Europe Series regular in this very smart M3 that is a little bit slow out of the blocks, maybe. When we watched practice earlier, we thought this was quite a nicely settled, sorted, stable car. But what can it do now? The pressure is on.
Yeah, away he goes. He's just dipping out of that first zone, but then drops back into it, so he's going to lose a few points. Nice smooth across, not as smooth as we've seen some of the others. Lots of handbrake, but everybody's having to into zone 2, out to zone 3. Yep, just on the edge of the white line now. Zone 4, lovely. Out to 5. Can he keep it in 5? He's in deep and then comes out of it. Just knocks himself off those few points that can make the difference of being, you know, quite a way up. A lot of angle across the finish line.
So what do you reckon? 50s?
Yeah, maybe high 40s, low 50s. It's not the best run we've seen, but it's, you know, it's not the worst. There are mistakes, and you can see them as they pile up. You know, he's come out of the zone, gone back into the zone, so he's going to lose some points. Just there, not so smooth in the transition.
But look at the spray there.
But then he's fulfilled most of that zone, so he's going to lose some points. Gets out to this zone, fulfills it, so he's going to get 5 for there. Fulfills that zone by looks at that camera angle, so he hit 5 there. Gets into the zone 5, then drops straight off of it. So the points he could have got there, he's just thrown away. Plenty of angle, fluidity. Yeah, it's okay, but not going to set the world on fire. So, maybe high 40s, maybe even dip into the 50s.
Right, let's see then, because here come the scores, and it is a total of 61, better than either of us expected. So it puts him 5th. The Czech Republic goes 5th, courtesy of Michal Reichert. And the last car to go in the first qualifying run is Kane Pisani. He represents Malta. He's a regular in the Drift Open Series. Now, in practice, and he did lots of practice runs early in the evening when it was really wet, he was facing in the wrong direction rather a lot. He's a lot of support here.
Absolute nightmare in earlier, and I did have a chat with him in the pits, which we'll get back to later, but let's see how he gets on. Up to the initiation cone, flicks it in, a little bit on the handbrake. Can he stay out in the zone? Drops off of that zone quite a bit inside the track there. But it's not a spin, so as we say, you know, he's got to get some points on the score because he had an absolute mare of a practice.
Oh, he's wide and he's off. That's a spin, that's a 0.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Don't know if it's a problem with the car or where he just can't gel with it on this track, but he was having an absolute nightmare earlier on, and I had a chat with him. I said to him, you know, do you like the rain? Do you prefer the wet or the dry? And he said, I'm terrible in the rain. So you want it in the dry. He said, I'm terrible in the dry and all. And we had a good laugh and shook hands, and you know, I wished him all the best. And that's the real characters of the sport. The guys who can laugh at themselves and say, you know, today everything's going wrong for some reason. I'm not gelling with the car. You say the lights are low. It's a very difficult track, and it's a 0 as we expected. So pressure's really on for Kane.
As
it
it
almost
is.
mounts up because, you know, you're having a bad practice, you're going out to qualifying, you know you've had nothing but bad luck.
So here we are. At the moment, we are being led by Lithuania, followed by Finland. In third is the Ukraine, and fourth is Italy. Fifth is the Czech Republic. Sixth, you have Latvia. Seventh, Estonia, and eighth is Portugal. Remember, it's the top 16 we need. 9th is Switzerland and 10th is Austria. 11th currently Belarus. 12th is Georgia. Only 13th Kuwait. Only 14th is Hungary. And of course now you're into those that didn't score. So 14th to 22nd did not get a score. That's a huge number of nations in trouble.
So now you know, like, hang on a minute, there's even less spaces available. And I've got one run.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? 16 go through, only 14 have scored. The judges have been very busy, and so too Louise Beckett. She's with them. Louise.
I'm with David, one of the other judges. Now, David, there's quite a few zeros there.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. What signifies that? I mean, some of the times it's obvious.
Yeah, those conditions are really not easy. Also, the drivers did not have many time for practice, so those conditions are pretty hard if you combine them together. Hopefully, in their second run, we will have more scores than we are having now.
So 16 are going through tomorrow. How do you decide from the ones from 0 that go through?
They're not going through.
Okay.
You need to qualify, so you need to get at least 1 point to go through.
Perfect. And were there some surprises there for you this evening?
Yeah, this evening is full of surprises because it's battle for surviving in those conditions. So those ones who were able to get the best setup for this track, for that weather, are getting scores. So I was surprised by ones that show us very nice scoring, but also surprised by a few drivers who did not end up with any score at all.
Okay, so what can they do now to their cars? Because obviously the track conditions are changing quite a lot. So what are they going to do between this first run and the second one?
They can change tires, they can change the alignment of the car, they can change the pressure of the tires, they can change even the setup or the mapping of their engine. So they can do basically whatever they need, but they need to be on time for their second run.
Okay, well, hopefully they will all be on time. We look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thanks, Louise. Right, so that's the first qualifying run done, and the point made that you've just got to get a score. So let's have a look at some of the good bits of that first run, with some being very spectacular, some being rather less than successful. But this Portuguese, she was the first one to actually get a score. So many of them skating off the road. This was Latvia. Edmunds Bergin's doing a pretty decent job. He was into the 60s. Estonia actually surprised us in a sense because though it didn't look like a mega run, it was pretty well placed in the end. But Finland took an early advantage, courtesy of the efforts of Juha Poitalak. So not a great run for Romania, an error and a 0. Also in strife was Norway. Odd Holger Hellstadt off in zone 2, so he was another one to get a 0. Proof of how the road is drying though, all that smoke off the tyres. Then we had for Switzerland, Yves Meyer, and he got 46 points. The judges hard at work as Austria went through to score 45 points. Right, Q2, we're ready to go. And Hungary will go first. Now, Zoltán Janto here has got to get a score. There's no argument, is there?
No, you've got, you know, everything is on you now. You're sitting there. You know you've got a 0. There's only 4 or 5 spaces left. Crikey, the weight of the world is on you. You know all your fans are watching, probably your family. But you've got to get it. You've just got to think of, you know, you've got to get a score. It's an easy line. I've done this, you know, so many times at so many venues, but it's a new track, different tarmac, the weather, the lighting. But he hasn't gone off. It's not the neatest run. He's out of the zones. It's very untidy. But at the moment, he probably just wants to get a score.
Absolutely.
If he can get a score, then he's in with a chance of qualifying.
So for Hungary, Zoltán Janto, who is a European, Adriatic, Czech series regular, it's safe, but is it good enough? I mean, yes, he'll get a score, but is it going to be a good enough score to be in that top 16? It's not just now a score, it's also whether you're in that drop zone, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you don't want to just get, you don't want to just get a 30 score, so you know, oh, well, I've got to wait for all the others to qualify. You want to be up in the 50s and 60s, so that there's 4 or 5 guys below you who can get knocked out before you get knocked out.
So here's the replay of it. It's not mega, but it's safe.
It's an okay, it's a very tentative run, not much angle there.
What do you reckon, 50s or still 40s?
I'll be surprised if it's above mid-40s. I would have said low 40s, maybe even high 30s. Very scrappy run. Looks like he only gets the start of that zone. Just gets the very edge of zone 5 there, then he's on the wrong side of the track. Big hiccup just there before he transitions to 6 and across the finish line. I don't think it's going to be a very good score at all.
More deliberation from the judges. Are they happy? Let's see what the score is. It is going to be a 51. Not too bad. So that puts him up to 8.
Better than I thought.
Yeah. So he's in for the moment. He's in
for the moment.
Yeah. Right, next we go to Russia. This is another nation that did not score in the first run. So Ilya Fedorov, the 4 times Russian Drift Series champion, is good to go. Pressure is on. He might be ranked 15th, but it's a notional 15th because he hasn't scored.
Yeah, I've got money on this man, so come on. So in we go, flicks in, all the way to the outside of the zone, keeps it out there, does this outside zone 1. Absolutely lovely, probably one of the best in that zone there. Transitions across, can he keep it together for 2? He's in 2 nicely.
It's okay, isn't it?
He's keeping that together.
It's an awful lot better than the first run.
Yep, this could be a really good run. 4, a little bit shy on 4, can he make 5? Yep, he's deep into 5.
This could be a good score, couldn't it?
Comes out of 5 near the end, transitions across, picks up 6. I don't think he's going to trouble the lead drivers, but I think it's going to be a good score.
Okay, so something, the best is an 86, something in the 60s, north of mid-60s. Let's have a look.
60s, high 60s. I was way wrong on the last one, so this may be even in the 70s.
All right, well, let's see. Here's a replay. Starts off nicely, and it carried on being good. That looks really precise there.
Yeah, you can see he's really deep in that outside zone 1, all the way, and there's a smooth transition across the track there. Keeps it nice and smooth. Little tiny hiccup on the steering there, but we know that's a really treacherous area there. Gets 3, comes out to 4, could be a little bit deeper in 4, out across to 5, and here he just comes out of 5 a little bit early, transitions across, picks up 6, and to the finish line just there. So I think it's going to be a good score.
All right, let's see. 60s would be safe, 70s good, 80s mega, and the answer is about to be revealed to us. Russia scores 79. That's second.
He's up there.
Second best and 9th at the moment, then.
Well, I'd say he's safe.
Yeah, I would go along with that. So, next to go is going to be Portugal. This was the first error-free nation first time around. Diego Manuel Diaz Correa is the driver. The thumbs up is given. The green flag is about to drop for the current Portuguese championship leader, the reigning Portuguese champion as well. He's away, he's up through the gears.
Yep.
What sort of a gearbox are we talking about here?
Some of these guys will run a normal H-pattern box. The BMW gearbox, very strong. A lot of them running sequentials, and the reason for that is on some tracks you need to stay in a gear and it may be a long bend.
Yeah.
You can't gear the car to run one gear through that whole bend. You need to change up. Rather than going across the box and missing a gear, the sequential bang straight in.
But
you don't have to lift the throttle either.
Yeah, and ideally you'd like to stay in that one gear because it's another distraction, isn't it?
Exactly.
Not bad, this.
This is a good run. This is a good run. This is nice and smooth. This car is absolutely immaculate. The pictures on screen don't do it justice. When I had a little look at this car, it is fantastic.
Here's the replay.
Makes me think of Cool Runnings with the colours.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's very, very I mean, it draws attention to itself, never mind the floodlights.
And under the floodlights, it really beams up.
Here's a driver entering into the real spirit of it, the whole livery given over to the nation. But let's see what the score is. 86 to beat from Lithuania.
Got zone 1, nice transition, quite long on the handbrake, but he gets zone 2. Keeps it all the way out to 3, just puts a wheel on the rumble strip, so he'll lose 1 or 2 points there, out to 4, quite deep in the 4, into 5 rumble strips, so he'll lose a point or 2 there, but he fulfills the whole strip there. Out to 6. You know, this could be a really good score.
Right, 86 is the best score of the night. Is it going to be anywhere near that? The answer is it's 89.
Yes.
That is fantastic. 89 points. That puts Portugal at the top.
That was an amazing run. To be fair, from what, you know, we've seen from one end of the spectrum, the zeros and all the troubles, that was so smooth.
Yeah, so 47 on his first run, 89 on his second, so he's doubled it virtually. Good to go now for Georgia is Mevlud Malaje, former circuit racer, road safety campaigner, martial arts champion, very, very experienced drifter, and in the purple junk back BMW, he is away. His first score was a 40. Barring a mistake, he should obliterate that now. The track's getting drier and quicker and the mistakes aren't there to be found. But he has made a mistake. Oh no, he's chucked it away.
Yeah, that's your fault.
It is, again, I'll take it all back. So sorry, Georgia. That is huge drama as well. He's got to rely on his first score of 40, and that's not going to be good enough now.
Now that's you know, you're now teetering on, am I going through? You're now going to be watching all the other drivers. He's going to finish up the run because, you know, you might as well finish up the run. You've paid your entry fee, finished the lap off.
But here's somebody with decades of experience of drifting.
Yeah, it just shows you the pressure. You know, you can be... Some drivers, no matter how long they've been driving, when it comes to the judged bit, are absolutely, you know, they struggle to qualify, and then they come to light in battles.
I don't need to read this out, do I?
Yeah, we know it's going to be a 0.
So 14th he is at the moment. He relies on that earlier 40-point score. Right, the Sheriff is back in town. Federico Scerifo in this Toyota GT86. Look at the back of the car. There was bodywork covering all of that earlier. It was ripped off when he had her off in the practice session. Notice this car is run by the FFF racing team, the very dominant GT team in endurance racing and sprint GT racing this year, running the Team Japan entry in the GT Cup as part of the FIA Motorsport Games. And Federico Scerifo is go.
And it's a brand new car as well, up through the sequential box, flicks it in. Now, I did watch Sheriff earlier, and he's really heavy on the left foot braking.
Okay.
But he doesn't look like he's used as much. It might have been just dialing himself into the car. It's definitely not as smooth as the previous run.
He's off.
That's it. Wrong side of the cone. That's all she wrote for that run.
Absolutely. When he got 62 on his first run, he's going to have to rely on that.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid...
just driving straight again would be a 0.
The Sheriff has copped it here. Dear, oh dear.
Somebody's shot the Sheriff.
Well, they have, haven't they?
Yeah. So, and he'll be kicking himself. He'll be absolutely kicking himself. But it is a brand new car. First time he's driven it. And of course, when you go off the track, it always unnerves you. No matter how many times you've done it, because you're coming back to that same point. And
you see on the graphic there, the mugshot of the drivers. I love the overalls with the bow tie and the tuxedo. However, little good did it do it.
They're looking in the back of this machine. You can see how complex the roll cages are in these vehicles. You know, safety is absolutely paramount.
Right, so the Sheriff shot. What about the deputy? Away next for the Ukraine goes Dmitry Ilyuk. Drag racer, rally driver, now drift convert. And in his earlier run, he got 66. This is a good start.
Yeah, he's flicked that in, got quite a decent angle on. He's out in the zone. Banging those flames out. Looks absolutely spectacular at night. If you're here watching it, it's something else. It's just, they're coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
You're not too sure what's going on.
Code's gone! 2 codes gone!
That looks like 2 wheels off foot there. And the poor old marshal's got to go and pick them cones up.
He's still on it. He's still pushing.
Yeah. They may deem that area, because I'm not privy to it. They've had a rebriefing with some of the drivers. They've all been sent messages that due to the wet conditions, some of the areas have been extended, some of the zones have been extended. So he might get away with those 2 wheels off. For me at the moment, I think it'll be a 0. Lucy flicks it in, smoke coming from them tyres. There is a drying line coming.
Right, so let's see what the score is. 66 on his first run. There's a 0 on that one.
That's the 2 wheels up on that green sort of soft tarmac, I tend to call it, really.
That grasscrete on the outside of the road. Right, we go to Latvia next. Edmunds Bergins, the 2019 Latvian champion, last year's Latvian Drifting Cup semi-pro champion. He is the next to go. He got 60 on his first run with the BMW. He blasts away. And interesting again that the last 3 have all been 0. So even though the road is drying, people are still tripping themselves up.
Yeah, maybe they're not expecting it to be so dry in certain places. And you know, if you're in your mindset, right, I know where it's wet, I know where I need to be tentative, like here coming into zone 2, but you can be too tentative and almost stall up.
Yeah.
And that can end up as an unchaseable run if it's so slow. Of course, it looks slower on screen, as I said earlier. Out there, it looks 50 mile/hour faster when you're watching it live. It is absolutely spectacular. This is a fast flowing track. Not the neatest of runs.
But he needs a score.
It's going to get a score. Going to get a score off the start line. You see, no major wheel spin off the start line. They're all getting the grip off the start line now.
We've only got one nation that's got 2 scores yet, and that's Portugal.
Well, there we go. Maybe those guys have been practicing in the rain.
So here's the replay of Latvia. Edmunds Bergins, the man behind the wheel of the car, and we'll get a score in a moment.
Transitions across, lots of handbrake, and the car really slows down. But probably if he was going any faster, he was going to keep going. Who knows where he could have ended up. Gets out to zone 3, cross to zone 4. Can he make 5? A little bit of a hiccup in the transition. Gets into 5. But like so many, comes straight out of it. Not staying in it long enough. Transitions across into 6 and across the finish line. Probably going to be an okay score.
All right, well, the judges are deliberating, and the scores will confirm. Is it an improvement on 60? It's a 0.
Oh, well, there we go.
Now, why is that?
That's one we're going to need to ask the judges, mate. They've obviously seen something that perhaps we didn't get on our screen now. Maybe I missed something very clear.
Right, well, Estonia is next, and away goes Ayovida. So this, the Estonian driver, 9th currently. It was a good, steady, if unspectacular, first run. Locks the rears, gets into that first corner, and round comes the back.
Yeah, starting to generate smoke more and more now, these guys.
Yeah.
You see, some of them aren't expecting the amount of grip they're getting, and they're coming across here, across the puddles. One wheel off, picks the cone up. Well, that poor cone's going to be crucified, and he's going for a ride. Out to 4, cone still with him. 3, 4, not so deep in 4, out to 5, just the edge of 5, and then comes straight out of it.
Load of smoke.
A few hiccups there. It could well be on that previous run that the slowing down into zone 2 could have been too excessive. I don't know. That's one for the judges, definitely. They'll have notes for that.
Okay, here's the replay of Estonia. Let's see where he picked up that cone, if we can.
Yep, so outside zone 1, here we go. Just into zone 1. Not as deep as we'd like to see, as you can see. Then he dips back into it. Transitions across. There's the grip there. You can see the car juddering.
2 wheels
there
off.
we go.
Well, certainly 1 wheel off. Almost 2.
Got 1 wheel, picks the cone up.
Yeah.
Out to the zone there. 1 wheel on the rumble strip. Doesn't get 4. Just touches 5. It comes straight out of it. Transitions across towards 6. A little bit of a hiccup on the steering there.
And no bonus points for bringing a cone home.
No bonus points. No, you don't get any points for killing a cone.
Right, what do the judges reckon to that? Only 3 scores so far, 4 zeros out of the 7 thus far. This is the 8th, and what do we get? Let's see. The judges claim that Estonia gets 46, so 9th, he's in. And that at the moment is the main thing, isn't it? Just getting in.
Yeah, just getting in at the moment. We're such a patchy, sketchy track.
But that was worse than his first run. Now here has been one of the dark horses, 2nd on the first run. You heard Poitalaxo in the BMW, the Finn. So he got 76 on his first run. That was good enough to be the leader for much of it, but he was bettered in the end by Lithuania. Can he go better than 76?
This man's going to go for it. No doubt about it, he's going to have it. It's going to be all or bust. He knows he's in. Does he really want to be, put a statement, I'm number 1. So...
Now, we understand that Latvia, that got that 0, and we were wondering why, went straight in a zone where he should have gone sideways. So, because of going straight,
that doesn't quite show on our camera angle that we have there. As we say, the judges have got much better angles than us, and seeing it live really does show up that difference.
So, didn't transition. There's Finland then underway. Lots of smoke coming off into the first corner. The BMWs go for Portugal. It sounds good, it looks good, but he's sliding, keeps it off the white line, recovers it, understeer, oversteer, he's back on the power, horn it out of the corner. He might have lost a point or two for that.
Yeah, it's a 3, not so deep in 4. Sacrifices quite a bit of 4, very deep in 5, but then again comes straight out of it, almost catches the end of it, transitions across. Bellowing smoke across the finish line. That's getting dry there.
It is indeed. It looks good. Hit the replay. There's something about a noisy rear-wheel drive car, whether it's in a race or drifting going sideways. It just, I don't know, everything's right with the world. And this then is Portugal into that first corner, on the brakes, gets the back of it out. It looks good, it sounds good, and it's another decent run. Is it as good as his earlier 76? Crucially, is it better than the earlier 76? Let's see. This is the replay, remember, the judges are looking at it again, the scoring is going on. Maybe there was a little bit scrappy, but largely it was a good run, that.
Yeah, not too bad a run. Nice and deep into 5, but then comes out of it, just on the edge of it. I'm not so sure it's better than his first run.
Well, let's see what the judges reckon. There's all the smoke billowing out of the back of it. And are they happy? Do they have a figure for us? Yes, they do. 76 to beat, and the answer is 71. Not quite so good.
Hey.
You were right again.
That's 3 out of
some
40 runs or something.
You're booked. You come out tomorrow night. Right, next up, Romania. This is Andrei Stanescu, who got a 0 on his first run. Let's see what he can do now.
He made a hash of the first run, so it is really pressure on. And, you know, now up through the box, he's got a little bit of a flick going, trying to get a bit of flamboyant style going, get some points. He's deep into 1. That's looking real good into 1. Nicely in that zone. Can he keep it all tidy? Transitions at the cross.
Oh.
A little bit of hiccup. Oh, that could bite.
He's gone, he's around, it's another 0. That is him gone. Romania is out, he's nearly in the barriers. Two fails.
He nearly exited the circuit left.
He did indeed. Right, 0-0. No argument. Goodbye, Romania. That is a definite for missing the cup for tomorrow night.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you know, I'm sure they'll stay and enjoy the atmosphere, because there is a lovely atmosphere. I don't know if you've walked around the pits, but you know, there's a real buzz around there, because you know it. All the drivers are mustard, but not tonight.
That is rather mild mustard,
That's
because off
mustard.
he goes.
That's not Coleman's.
No, 2 0s. Goodbye, Romania. That goes then. Vlad Andrei Stanescu. Vlad impaled on 2 spins. Effectively, he's out of the competition. Goodbye. Right, Sweden next. Lots of errors on the first one for Christian Erlandsen. He's another one with a 0, so he has got to score.
And again, pressure's on. He's come up through the box. Gives it a nice flick entry, a little bit of handbrake. You can just see the rear wheel lock up with the white lines on them. You can see it. It's already drying there. We're getting smoke off the tyres more and more now. Then there's this wet patch that they transition across, and that's throwing them off.
Oh, understeer, oversteer.
He's going round.
He saved that nicely. That looked like it was on the edge, didn't it?
So far offline, though. I'm not sure that's going to score, to be honest.
You reckon?
Yeah, that could be an unchaseable one.
Let's see. That's the drier part. Loads of smoke through that last S-bend. Hits the brakes. Well, 0 on the first run. What has he done now?
He's mucked up. You can see here, he comes off. There's plenty of grip here. Up through the box. Does a lovely flick entry. And then just taps the wand or the handbrake. You see the rear wheel lock up, and then back on the power.
Right, is it a 0? Is it a number? The answer is 0, 0, 0, 0. That's Sweden out of the competition, 2 0s.
That's an unchaseable one. A big error down in zone 2 again. Zone 2, the killer.
Right, Norway next. Zone 2 was the undoing last time for Odd Elga Helstad, and he got a 0. So thumbs up, let's see what he can do. The 23-year-old, the Norwegian junior champion, the pro drift champion, the Norwegian champion. He goes, but This has got to be a run with a score at the end of it, because right now he's on a 0 and he needs some numbers to his name.
This is looking smooth. It's not looking massively fast. Bit of left foot braking, but you know it doesn't look fast on screen compared to out there, as I've said earlier. Can he hold this? He's got that on full on. That's one wheel off. Definitely one wheel off, but just took the cone out with the rear of the bumper. Makes 3. Gets 4, a little bit sketchy, few corrections, just touches 5 and then comes straight out of 5. So he's not going to get a score for zone 5, across to zone 6. This could be good enough to get him a score.
It needs to be. So we know that we have now lost Romania and Sweden. They have gone. 89 is the score to beat.
You see here, little flick entry, front brake light comes, just dabs the brakes, gets the car settled, out to the zone, nice and smooth there, not the fastest we've seen, probably because of the amount of left foot braking that he's using, and that's possibly what catches him out here, because he goes across to a very damp side of the track, just gets that wheel right on the edge there, the inner wheel, so he's definitely got one wheel off.
So he needs a score, but he needs a good score now as well, doesn't he? Let's see. So for Norway, Helge Hellstadt goes through. The Nissan 200SX completes the run in the replay. And the judges still feverishly scribbling.
Making all their notes.
They are indeed, and the score that they come up with is 68, which is okay. It's not stellar, but it's a huge improvement on a 0.
Yeah, even if you get yourself in the middle of the field, you're away from that drop zone. And that's what it's about, you know, get a score on the ball, get away from the bottom of the grid. Even if you end up mid-pack, so you've got a bit of a battle tomorrow. 10 to be in it. 10
nations to go, and this is not a Nissan, it is the BMW M3 in the hands of Ali Mahsid for Kuwait. He is a double Kuwait King of Drift champion, and on his first run he did an okay job. He got 40 points. He has to improve on that now, though.
Yep. Nice zone 1, out to zone 2. Quite a long e-brake, handbrake, wand, whichever you like to call it. But he keeps it all together. Doesn't get deep into 3. Shy out on 4, comes out of it a bit early. Crikey, that was definitely one wheel off into 5 and then comes straight out of zone 5 into zone 6, where we know they're going to produce a bit of smoke because that part of the track is definitely drying. Going to get a score, I would say, because it looked to me only one wheel off. You know, we might get a better look on this one.
Okay, let's see. This is the replay of the Q8 run.
Yep, so he's in zone 1, just drops off of it, but then drops back into it. You can see there, transitions across. And he's very, very long on the handbrake. Just coming up. We've got, doesn't get into deep into 3. Early on 4, misses 4, comes across, and here's the one wheel, just flicks the dirt out. Definitely one wheel. The judges will be viewing their alternative views, and of course they've got to see it right in front of them live. So let's see what they come up with. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Okay, let's see what they come up with.
As they put their little scores in, away they go, making notes as well. I've said it a few times, you know, you can see the judges here all making notes. This is so that the drivers can go back and talk to them and say, you know, where did I go wrong? Why did I score this? What can I do to get better? And that is how you get better, by understanding your mistakes.
Sure, so the score, 40 on the first run, 50 on the second.
Ever so slightly better. Could be safe with a 50.
Yeah, well, he's 12th. He's in that danger zone, if you like. Now, France is next. This, remember, Benjamin Boule made a right mons of it on his first run. Away he blasts now. 5 times a French champion, but it was a dreadful first effort, so he's got to pull something stellar out of the bag. The flag waves to the side of the car, but right now Benjamin Boule has got to go like never before. The concentration is there. Is it good enough? He's sliding, but he just gets away with that, I reckon. He's understood and he's off again. Same place as he did it in the first run, and off he goes again. Malheureusement, Benjamin Boule, au revoir.
Yeah, that's load up. You know, your day is done, unfortunately, and he will be kicking himself, especially to do the same mistake in exactly the same place. Just wondering whether just didn't get any heat into the front tyres.
Yeah, well, that's another 0. That's him gone. Easy, isn't it?
Yeah, this makes life easy for commentating and for the judges.
Does it ever? So how many's that with a double 0? Romania, Sweden, and now France, double 0s. So 3 nations. This is Switzerland. This is Yves Meyer, who is the next one away. The BMW M2 of the man that was a runner-up in last year's Intercontinental Drifting Cup. He knows what he's doing. The car looks great, sounds good, and look at that. That's a really good line.
Yeah, and it's fast as well.
Yeah.
You can see the difference in the speed. When you see the guys who are heavy left foot braking, you can see how much slower they are. He's having to slow the car down here because we know there's no grip there. His spotter would have told him, Bugles has just gone off there. There's no front end grip. But look at that, out to 3.
Whoa.
Wow, snappy transition to 4. Lots of deep in 4. Gets just the edge of 5, but a little bit shaky. Going to get marked down for that because the fluidity's not there. It's not smooth. So he's going to lose quite a few points on the style, but he's going to get a score.
Well, he got 46 on the first one. Let's see what he can do this time around, as this is the replay of Meyer charging away. It does look good. It's a spectacularly delivered car, that.
It is absolutely... Lars, you can't understand just how beautiful these cars are until you actually go down the pits and have a look at them.
I mean, that puts many circuit races to shame, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
they are immaculate.
Yeah. And you can tell it's drying out because even from where we are, not really trackside in our booth, we can now smell traces of the burning rubber just coming through.
I'd say our air conditioning, but it seems to be switched off. But yeah, more and more places on the track the cars are getting smoke from their tyres, so they're definitely drying a line out. But they need to dry out the right line.
Right, let's see what the score is. 46 last time, 61. It's okay, it's not mega.
Yeah, it's not mega, but again, mid-pack gets you in the battle.
Well, it does, doesn't it?
You know, and it's better to be there to battle.
Now, this is the leader from the first run. This is Benedikt Čerba for Lithuania. And he was the leader at the end of the first run. He's now been better, remember, by Portugal. And he goes wide and kicks up the gravel there.
One wheel off. He's going to get marked down, but it shows a bit of commitment, a bit of flamboyance. He's really going to push for this. It just looks so fast. Can he keep it together? He can. You know, this man absolutely comes alive in battles. He's like a man possessed, like a magnet on the car in front. But, you know, he's throwing it all out. He's got nothing to lose. He's got a high score.
European Series regular, gets a good score. He should go through without any real dramas. Let's see what the score is, though.
Yeah. Few, you know, little mistakes here and there that he's going to lose points on, but he's going to get a score.
Yeah. Okay, so here is the first error.
Here
Goes wide.
Yeah. One wheel just going to touch the gravel.
Just kicks up the gravel there.
It is only one wheel off, so it's going to be a deduction in points because he is off circuit. But it's not a 0.
Now, what are the judges
let's
thinking about
see what they've
that?
seen, mistakes anywhere else.
Louise is having a word to say, what do you think of that one? And there's much scribbling going on.
Ryan's trying to chat her up.
Ah, that's what it is it? Yeah. Well, good luck. See how that goes. Here's another replay, and this is the Lithuanian car, Benedikt Čerba. So that's at full speed. He was lucky to save that.
He was. Sometimes it flicks you completely around and puts you back in nose first. So he did well to keep that all nice and safe into this zone area. Slows right down, has to put plenty of lock on to keep it. Not the smoothest of runs. Out into zone 5 here, stays in it. But, wow, virtually all of it just coming out of it just a little bit early across the 6 and away to the finish line.
Right, on the first run, Čerba got 86. On his second run, he gets only 64. Ugh, quite a lot of loss, isn't it, that?
Yeah, quite a few. You see the corrections in the steering and it upsets the car.
Yeah.
You can sometimes see it on the roof of the car. If you look into the roof of the car, you see the car darting about where they're making corrections, and the judges pick up on that.
Right, next up is Dimitri Nagula. Not Nagula, as the entry list says, but Nagula.
I'm glad you pronounced that.
Away he goes, the Belarusian entry, then 43 on his first run.
Yeah, so he's got an okay score, but he's got to push it. He's got to get a higher score, make sure he's safe, make sure he's in the battle. Plenty of left foot braking. You see the brake lights on there. The judges will be noting that, how much he's on the brakes. More so, is it slowing the car down? Bit of an error there with his transition. A little bit of stage run.
He's off.
There's
Two wheels, I reckon there.
Yeah, that could well have been 2 wheels.
Has he picked up a cone? Just looking at the back of the car, I thought there was something stuck underneath it. Yes.
Yeah, yes. That's another one gone. We're going to run out of cones by the end of qualifying. Not running out of cars, we're running out of cones.
Exactly. Right, so it's a 0.
Yeah,
We don't need a replay.
Yeah.
Bosh. So Dimitri Nagula, he is 15th, relying on the 43 points in that first run. And there should be 5 cars to go. Now, one of them, Denmark, we didn't see in the first run, so that might make it 4. Let's see. But this is real nail-biting stuff now for Belarus.
He's sitting there waiting to get dropped 16th, and then one more and you're out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Denmark, Dennis Hansen, missed the first run, and I think he's going to miss his second. This is Austria. This is Daniel Brandner. So Denmark, we know we're going to lose. So that's another 0 for 2 non-starts.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, so mechanical dramas, real shame for Denmark, Dennis Hansen. So Daniel Brandner is the next one to go. Now, you were saying earlier, he's either mega or he's off.
Yeah, he really is an all-or-nothing driver. He goes flat out all the time, and it either works or it doesn't work, and he has as much success as failures, really. You just never know, is he going to make the course? Last time he was very heavy left foot braking, and you can see he's doing it again.
Yeah.
Ever so slow in comparison to the other drivers. Brake lights on for an eternity.
Now, we got 45 on his first run, so we know we have lost Romania, Sweden, France, and now the non-starting Denmark. They are 4 that we have lost. They're the easy ones. They're all 0s.
Yeah. Not the tidiest of runs here. It's going to get a score. Misses 5, doesn't get 4, just gets 3, not out to 6. Oh, it's a scrappy run for Brandy. But he may be just going, I'm just going to just go for it and see where the dry is. And he may have changed some settings on his car, knowing he's got to score first time. We watch here, on comes the brake lights, and you can hear the engine labouring up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem an easy run, does it?
Yeah, you just hear the engine sort of being held back there.
One wheel on the dirt.
Yeah, one wheel into the dirt, so more points lost. Gets out to 3, comes across to 4, shy on 4, a little error there. Doesn't look like he makes 5. Quite a bit on the inside of the track there, transitions across.
So he got 45 on his first run. There is Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Malta still to go. And let's see what the judges reckon to that. 45 on the first run.
Could be a similar-ish score,
let's
around
see.
the 40s.
He needs to be better than that, but the answer is here. 52.
Wow,
it is an improvement.
Yeah.
Only
I
a
said
bit.
around the 40s, 52 is close enough.
Yeah.
That's another one for me.
Well done. Yeah, you're winning on points here, definitely. Yeah. So, Slovakia next to go. A 0 for Janos Onodi on the first run. Let's see what he can do now. He has got to get a number.
Yeah, pressure's on. You're sitting at the start line, and you know your spotter's probably on the radio going, "Come on, mate, calm yourself, settle yourself," and you're like, "God, leave me alone." And away we go. Plenty of grip you see there.
Bit of a scrappy start, isn't it?
Yeah,
the revs going up and down.
Doesn't look that committed.
No.
Coming in, could just be the camera angle, as I said earlier. Out there watching it, he's seriously fast.
It's more the engine note I was thinking about. But
Yeah, just
he recovers it there. Let's see now. He's heading towards this bogey corner. Throws it sideways around. He goes. That's his second 0 of the night. Goodbye, Slovakia.
Parks it in Boo-Ball's corner.
Indeed so. Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Janos Onodi then. He's gone.
Oh, and you know, he's looking at it, he's absolutely smashing that throttle. He's so annoyed with himself, I'll use a polite term. And you can tell because he is now absolutely smashing it.
So that is 5 that we know have gone with effectively double 0s. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it happens.
Well,
it happens.
indeed, clearly. But, you know, as you've been saying, these are not mugs. These are seriously successful drifters, and 5 have recorded a double 0. So we've got 2 to go, and here's the Czech Republic. Michal Reichert, who did pretty well on his first run. He got 61 points. Let's just confirm. 0, 0, 0, 0 for Janos Onodi, and that's him gone. Right, Reichert is next. The Czech, regular in the Czech Series and the Drift Masters Europe Series. His BMW rockets away. 9th at the moment on that 61 points. Throws it sideways nice and early.
Big flick, trying to get a bit of showmanship, a bit of style points. It's out in zone 1, all the way out there. Keeps it all the way to zone 1, transitions across.
Locks up the front, slides out
Can he
wide.
keep
He's
it?
off 2 wheels and he's around. It's another 0. So Reichert spins it. So he did okay on his first one. He's made a right Horlicks in the second.
Blue balls bend, bites again.
Does it ever?
Wow, that is cursed, that bend.
How do you know that a course quite like this?
It does happen. We got one in the UK that when
Okay.
it's wet, it's, you know, are you going to make the first bend or are you going where I normally end up straight in the gravel?
Well, Michael Reichert then is 9th in the ranking, so he's okay to get through. There's only one more to go, and it's Spinner Pisani, Kane Pisani from Malta, who got it wrong in the practice rounds out on his first one. So, Kane, please keep it in kind of the right direction. The Kane Motorsports Toyota Supra, the last man to go this evening. The Maltese Falcon is ready. He'll get the indication now from the start line judge. The green flag drops, and this again has got to be a spin-free run.
Come on, Kane, you can do it. A little bit tentative in, but he's just got to get a score on. Then he knows he's going to get to battle. Doesn't get out into zone 1. Set for right at the very end of it. Comes across to where we know is the treacherous, and look how much he dives inside. Stays well away from that outer zone.
Go on, boot it. Out he comes.
3, shy on 3, doesn't really get 4. The judges are going to crucify him with a score.
But he's done better than his first run because he's still going. He's all sideways. Go on, one more corner to go. Locked along, twirling, crosses the line. Boom, he's done it. Good lad. Right then, Kane Pisani rounds out qualifying for the FIA Motorsport Games Drifting Cup. Here's the replay of it.
We've just got to hope he gets a score for this because it could be deemed an unchaseable run. He's not out into zone 1 here from that camera angle. Just gets into the end of it there. Transitions across, and watch here. Look how far inside the track he is. He has got angle, he has keeping momentum, and then he goes out. Gets 3. Bit shy on 4. Comes out towards 5, just touches the corner, and then he dives on the inside. I think he'll do well to get a score.
Okay, right, there's a prediction for you. So our last driver of the night is going to get what? There are the judges.
Mistake after mistake every corner.
There you had it. Mistake after mistake every corner. So
Why is it towing car is going away from us?
let us see what the figure is. They're not impressed, you know that much.
No, you heard him say it, you know, mistake after mistake after mistake. That could be a kiss of death.
It is a 0.
Oh,
so that's another double 0. Oh, what a shame. So that's 7 that go. So there's only one driver with a score that's going to get bumped out. 7 double 0s. That's easy. There's one other nation that's going to go. And who is that going to be? So the lowest score is going to be Georgia, isn't it? With 40 points and a 0.
Yeah, you could be right there, because if you've got a tie on one score, you look at the second score. So they're going to input it all, and the computer will automatically put them in the grid.
So let's have another look at the highlights of the second run, with Russia doing a good job. 79 points for Ilya Fedorov, recovering from his 0. This was Portugal, 89, the best of the night for Diego Manuel Diaz Correa. And that was a really good run. That is the best, that's the benchmark. This was the spin for Mevlud Meraja for Georgia. That was at the very first corner that did for him. Then the Sheriff managed to get shot because Sherifo went off.
Wrong side of the cone, you can see it in car.
For the Ukraine, another 0 for Dmitry Ilyuk, who had an off. And then Romania was another one to go with this spin. So that was another double zero and almost in the tyre stack.
Yeah, into Boobal's bend.
Yeah. Sweden didn't fare a whole lot better with an unchaseable run. Then Norway was a lot better with 68 points. And then for Kuwait, a better run also on the second run for Ali Mahseed. There is Benjamin Bourbe, who made this mistake, second one of the night, same corner, and that was him gone.
Yeah, he couldn't have got more understeer in that car if you tried. It was on full lock.
For Switzerland, Niedmeyer did a reasonable job, 61 points, improving on his second run. A rather scrappy effort for the man that did lead after Q1. This for Lithuania's Benediktas Chiriba. Then we had going off the road Dmitry Nagula. He got a 0 on his second run for Belarus. And then Austria, Daniel Brander, 2 okay runs, so at least there were 2 scores for him.
He's into battle.
He's in the battle.
He's into fight.
Yeah.
And that's where, as I've said it before, you know, some drivers aren't great at qualifying. They really struggle.
And then we have this spin for Slovakia, Janos Amini. We have a spin on the second run for Michael Reichert, and then an error-ridden run for Malta Kane Pisani. Well, it's been a dramatic night, that's for sure. And the judges are with Louise.
Yeah, I'm with Vernon, the third judge here tonight. Now we're waiting on one car, so can you just explain the situation?
Yeah, there's a 5-minute competition timeout, and they're picking up the car, so he's got 5 minutes to work on the car.
Okay.
Once he gets it running, then we can do the last qualification run.
It's close to get it to 16 to qualify, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the weather conditions also were in play. That was really difficult for the guys.
Do you know which car it is that's stuck at the moment? Or have I just asked you a trick question?
A little bit. I'm not really sure. I think it's Denmark, but yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Right, yeah, Denmark is the one that we've not seen. And does he get 1 run or 2? Because he's missed both.
He would have missed his first one, so for the second one, he'll have to have called his competition time out,
Right.
I'm assuming. So
Okay.
that's where his 5 minutes are coming in.
Right, so this is where we are at the moment. So this is the order. It is Diego Correa for Portugal, ahead of Lithuania. Third is currently Finland. Fourth, Russia. Fifth, Norway. Sixth now is the Ukraine. Seventh is Italy. Eighth is Switzerland. And a real spread of scores from 89 all the way down to 61, and just your top 8 alone there. Now, next page will tell us who is in. So that means Czech Republic is in. So also is Latvia, Estonia, Austria, Hungary, Kuwait, Belarus and Georgia, just scraping into that top 16. Who do we lose, therefore? Let's see.
Number 16, possibly.
So Romania goes, Sweden goes, France goes. Denmark is the unknown at the moment because that hasn't got a score. That could be the one that just interrupts this. Then you've lost also Slovakia and Malta. And there is Denmark. I'm not sure that's going to get out, is it?
No, it's not looking promising at the moment, but
I mean, he's not back in the pits. Never
they've
mind.
got to get back to the pits. The 5 minute allotted time doesn't start until you get back to your pits.
Right.
So as soon as he pulls into the pits and any of his mechanics touch the car,
Then it starts.
5 minute start. So this is where you need a disciplined mechanics as well, because you could pull into the pits, look around your car without touching it and go, we're not touching it, we haven't just looking, right, we know we need this, touch the car, get it jacked up, maybe get yourself 20, 30 seconds. That could be the difference between making the grid and not. You know, on some championships, it may be the case today that when you stop in your pits, that's when your time starts. So as soon as he gets back to his pits, that could be the 5 minute start rather than when the mechanics touch it.
Let us see. But
We've got a little bit of a wait.
we have, assuming that they are going to be able to fix the problem within the 5 minutes. I mean,
Yes.
it's unknown what that problem is, isn't
Yes.
it? It could be quite straightforward. It could be rather more sinister.
Yeah, we have seen some amazing stuff over the years with guys changing complete rear differentials in under 5 minutes. You know,
Wow.
you take it to your local garage and he's going to give you a
5
bill.
days.
Yeah, he's going to have your car for 5 days, book it for 10 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and these guys are out there pulling them apart, getting another diff in under 5 minutes and getting back out to the start line. You know, it's crazy, but that's the dedication of these guys. Everything is nice and clean under the cars. The cars are so well maintained and have the best parts available on them. That's why it's rare to see them break down. A #1 qualifier, what a beautiful machine this is. Genuine credit to this guy.
Let's have a look at our top 3 thus far, and Portugal has been outstanding. This was the best run of the night for Diogo Manuel Dias Correa, and this was how he managed to get 89 points on run 2.
Just so smooth. You can just see it's smooth, it's flowing, it's not massive corrections in the steering, he's filling the zones. It's only ever so slight one wheel off there. Not as deep into 5 as he could be, so a couple of points, but that's why he got a good score. It's a very smooth, flowing run.
Now, Lithuania topped the points at the end of the first run, but it all unravelled really at the first corner of run 2.
Yeah, very committed, pitched it in, going to have it, and just went that little bit too much, just picked up the gravel. Judges are going to crucify you with some scores because it's a wheel off. Not going to be massive off score-wise, but it's enough.
And that very nearly got away from him down in the next zone, didn't it? But he just saved that.
You know, you upset the car at one zone, it makes it hard for the next zone and the next zone. It's so important to get the line right. And from zone 1 makes zone 2, zone 2 makes 3, 3 makes, and so on. If you muck up 1, it makes 2 hard. And if you haven't quite got 2, you struggle for 3, and it's just like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And as we heard the judge saying earlier, you know, it's mistake after mistake after mistake at that point.
So this was Finland, 3rd in the rankings. The car driven by Juha Poitilakso, and it all looked good on the first one. Indeed, he led for a time, so he's in the hunt. He's going to get into that battle tomorrow, and is still a possible medal winner, isn't he?
Yeah, up on Facebook on a thing that I put, seemed to be backed as quite a favourite by a lot of people. I got so many messages. I turned my messages off at the end. It was, you know, I was getting every few seconds, yeah, this man's going to win, this man's going to win. I was like, that's why I put a post up. You're supposed to comment on there, but
yeah,
you know, it's nice to see the passion, and he's got some real good followers, and a lot of people rooting for this man.
Spectacular it has been. Right, there is the paddock with the teams toiling away. And of course, whatever they've got to do to that Danish car, they're doing it in not natural light, so they've got to rely on the floodlights and the false lighting in the paddock. There's the drifting cup part of the paddock, but trying to peer in and see what's going on to the Danish car. Has the clock started? It should have done, but is it going to get out within the 5 minutes is the question.
You've got to hope that where you're pitted isn't a puddle.
Yeah, there's that as well.
You know, many pits have little places in them where there's a puddle, and it's always where I park. You know, whenever you've got to lay under the car or do anything, you get soaked through, but you just get on with it. You know, these guys are going to be hands-on. It looks like they're at the front of the car rather than the back. So it could be something quite minor that's an easy fix, or it could be terminal.
So another look at the results just while we wait, and it is of course Portugal from Lithuania, Finland the top 3, Russia 4, Norway 5, 6th is the Ukraine, 7th Italy, and Switzerland 8th. Real mix of nationalities showing their prowess in drifting at these FIA Motorsport Games. 9th currently the Czech Republic. 10th is where you find Latvia, ahead of Estonia, Austria, Hungary, Kuwait, Belarus and Georgia. 16th. He might go through, he might not, it depends on the Danish entry, which has not yet done a run and is in this 5-minute repair time, effectively. Dennis Hansen has not yet participated. It would be a real shame if he couldn't, but the clock's ticking, isn't it?
Yeah, they all have a little clock down there in the pits. They put on the floor so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Start the timer, and there's no arguing. You know, here's the time it started. Here we go. Look, a quick look in the pits. Can they fix it?
It's fired up.
They're looking very despondent, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
The crew, they're not looking...
There's no urgency, is there?
No, they're not looking that enthusiastic. Either it's something very simple and they know they can do it in time. They just don't seem to be rushing. Doing it under torchlight as well. That will be as hot as anything in there, and sticking your arm in there rather you than me.
Someone's found
The cameraman's helped them out. Look at that.
2 minutes, did I hear somebody say?
I'm not sure what he said there. He could well have done. He's tapping something away. He's, not sure what. Feverish work in there, though. It's in one of those areas where not a lot of people can do anything. You know, it's one man's job. He's got to get his arms in there. You can have 25 people around you that, you know, they can't do anything. It's down to that man if he can make this work.
My Danish doesn't translate that, I'm afraid.
No, he could be saying things we don't want to know.
Yeah. Like, how's it broken in the first place? But they're going to fire it up again. No, they're not.
It's just turning over. Cranking over at least, but...
All of that engine, all of that potential power.
And you know what? It'll be something that cost about €2 that's broke. It's always something, it's a spare part that you don't carry. Oh, it's nail-biting stuff for these guys because, you know, they are on the clock and they just got to...
Oh,
there we
look,
are.
27 seconds. This isn't happening, is it? 25 seconds
They've
to go.
got to get that started and the bonnet down. Doesn't sound like it wants to start. It's a valiant
10,
effort.
9, 8.
No.
That's it.
Oh,
They've tried,
what a
but the
shame.
clock defeats them. Denmark is out.
Fair play, guys.
They had a go, didn't they?
They had a go. They got the car back. They jumped on it. You know, all hands on deck. Only space for one man to get his arms in. What can you do? You've got to do what you can. Sadly, it wasn't to be. Beautiful looking car. Proudly wearing the Denmark flag, as all the drivers are wearing their national flags on their cars. Some on their overalls as well. Some lovely overalls down there, but what can you do?
So that is the end of qualifying. We are back with the drift battle tomorrow evening. The semi-finals, the repechage, and the grand final, it all kicks off at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So for now, from Steve Evans and David Anderson, it's goodbye. We'll see you for more drift action from Vallelunga tomorrow. Good night.